Hey YouTube, it's ICU and welcome to the 40th episode of Best Tech Info and Rumors. Today I wanted to start off by talking about Steve Jobs. On the 24th of August, he tendered his resignation as the CEO of Apple, and after 35 long years, he finally said that he feels like he is no longer able to perform the job required of him as the CEO of Apple. He also said that he wants to stay on the board of directors as the chairman and still be involved with Apple, but again, he doesn't want to be the CEO anymore. Now, we don't really know whether it's due to health issues or other reasons, such as just not wanting to be the CEO of a company anymore. But regardless, Tim Cook replaced him as the CEO of Apple. And since Jobs tendered his resignation as the CEO of Apple, all of the media outlets have been overloaded with tons of old stories about Apple, and one of the best is actually a recent interview done by Bloomberg with Steve Wozniak and Ron Wayne, and it actually reveals some pretty interesting things, such as how Apple got started, how the three co-founders met, which includes Steve Jobs, Steve Wozniak, and Ron Wayne, and it covers some pretty interesting things, such as how they first started out building computers and basically just buying the parts on credit, building the computers, selling them for cash, and then using that cash to pay off the credit that they used to actually buy the parts to begin with. So again, it's really interesting, and I suggest that anyone who's interested in Apple watches that interview. And to take a break from Apple really quick, I wanted to talk about HP and the touchpad. I'm sure as most of you know, HP's touchpad tablet went on a fire sale late last week, and they were selling the 16 gigabyte version for only $99 and the 32 gigabyte version for only $149, and that's a $300 price deduction. So obviously places sold out extremely quick, and I actually covered this in my last episode of Best Tech Info and Rumors. However, now we have more information related to when HP will restock and when they will start selling the touchpad at the reduced prices on their website again. So a few HP employees have actually been tweeting to let people know the update on the touchpads and when HP will get them in stock, and it won't be anytime this week or this weekend. And again, if you want to be updated on that, I will have two posts down below in the more info specifically about the HP touchpad sale, and you can always follow me on Twitter and like my Facebook fan page to be updated every time something new happens related to the HP touchpad. And while we're on the topic, an Android 2.2 Froyo dump was actually demonstrated on a touchpad, and it looks like it works extremely well. However, it's only really for developers, and it could definitely cause some frustration if you actually tried to get it to work without knowing what you're doing. So again, we will just have to wait for a public ROM to be made available, and they will start out again with Froyo and slowly work their way up to the unreleased Android 4.0 ice cream sandwich version. Alright, so now back to Apple. According to the Wall Street Journal and their sources, Sprint stores will actually sell the iPhone 5 at the same time as AT&T and Verizon when it is launched. And once they published that article, it was picked up everywhere, and it even had an impact on Sprint stock. It actually went up a total of 10% that day. And then of course, after that Sprint iPhone 5 rumor, MacTrust jumped on board and they started talking about the iPhone 5 for T-Mobile. Now that makes perfect sense, considering AT&T bought T-Mobile not too long ago, and I don't see why they would have any problem getting the iPhone on T-Mobile. Moving on, Comex has actually left the jailbreak community to become an intern at Apple. Now this is a great opportunity for him, but obviously it hurts the jailbreak community because we probably won't see anything like Jailbreak Me in the near future, because again, now that Comex has basically left the jailbreaking community, he won't be able to create and release jailbreaks to the public, because obviously that would be bad for Apple, and since he's going to be an intern at Apple, I highly doubt that they would tolerate that. So again, I just wanted to say congratulations to Comex because this is a great opportunity. Also, RIM has launched a closed trial version of BBM Music, and it's their new music service where you have to pay $4.99 a month for basically 50 songs, and then you can send any of your songs over to your friends who use BBM through the messaging service. Now this definitely sounds interesting, and it doesn't sound like your normal mobile music service. However, it seems like it would be kind of hard to keep it running, especially with major competition such as iTunes and Spotify. Moving on to our final iPhone 5 related topic for the day, we have what appears to be a leaked iPhone 5 or iPhone 4S antenna, and the only thing that's really different between this antenna and the antenna for the iPhone 4 are the sizes and placement of the two different antennas. And this time they moved one of the antennas to the bottom, and it looks like it will fix the antenna gate issue. However, I'm curious curious to know whether or not you can still get the signal to go down just by touching the gaps. And in addition to that, just because it's the same size as the iPhone 4 antenna, it doesn't mean that it has to have the same old 3.5-inch display as all of its predecessors. It could easily take advantage of an edge-to-edge display to increase the size. Also, according to the New York Post, Amazon will create and release Android-based tablets that will cost hundreds of dollars less than Apple's cheapest iPad 2 model, which is $499. It will probably be targeted more towards a general audience, and it will probably have lower specs than something like the iPad 2 or the HP Touchpad, but again, it will be a great entry-level tablet, especially because it will be running Android. And in addition to that, a top analyst told the New York Post that Amazon could spark a pricing war among tablets, and it could cause companies such as Apple to drop their price slightly. But we'll just have to see what happens when it is actually released. The device lineup is set to launch in October, and of course it will be nice to see another cheap tablet on the market. And finally, if you guys want to jailbreak iOS 5 Beta 6, then I did a tutorial on this week's newest Redsn release. And in addition to that, if you are a touchpad user, then I actually made a video tutorial on how to install Preware on your HP Touchpad, and that's basically like the equivalent of Cydia for iOS devices. It allows you to get third-party software and modifications for your HP Touchpad. So again, it is a necessity for any touchpad owner, whether or not you own one now or whether or not you plan on owning one in the future. Definitely make sure you check out that video. So that's it for this episode. Please remember to rate it up if you liked it. Hit that subscribe button to be notified every time I release a new video. And for the question of the day, let me know down below in the comment section, what do you guys think about Steve Jobs' retirement, and how do you think it will affect Apple in the long haul? I will also have links to everything I talked about in today's episode down below in the more info, as well as links to my Twitter accounts, Facebook fan page, and my writer's Twitter accounts. So be sure to follow my Twitter accounts, like my Facebook fan page, and follow my writer's Twitter accounts to be updated more often. And until next time, this is ICU, signing out.